What if I told you that one of the most dazzling treasures of the British Crown, a necklace worth a fortune, had been gathering dust in a royal vault for decades? That Queen Elizabeth II, who had access to the most incredible jewels in the world, deliberately avoided this masterpiece? Today, we will unveil the story of one of the most mysterious pieces of jewelry in the world, the Greville necklace, and try to understand why it was hidden away by one queen, only to be gifted to another with truly royal grandeur. Our story begins not in the gilded halls of Buckingham Palace, but in the smoky, jazz and champagne-soaked salons of 1920s London. At the center of this whirlwind of high society stood a truly remarkable figure, the Honourable Margaret Helen Greville. She was not an aristocrat by birth, but through her wit, fortune and sharp tongue, she became one of the most influential hostesses of her time. Her home on Park Lane was the epicenter of London's elite, a place where destinies were forged and intrigues were woven to the soundtrack of laughter and the clinking of crystal. Mrs. Greville was a woman of impeccable, even audacious taste, and one all-consuming passion: jewels. Her collection was legendary, an assembly not merely of expensive pieces, but of the most fashionable, avant-garde, and technically perfect works of jewelry art. She did not just follow fashion, she set it. And in 1929, wishing to acquire something utterly exceptional, she turned to one of the greatest jewelry houses of Paris, Boucheron. The commission was ambitious, to create a necklace that would outshine all that had come before. The artisans at Boucheron, known for their innovation, surpassed themselves. They created not just a piece of jewelry, but an architectural masterpiece in the Art Deco style. Picture not one, but 5 full strands of perfectly matched diamonds cascading downward. The 2 upper strands were composed of single diamonds, creating the effect of a continuous line of brilliance. Below them lay a third, more intricate strand, consisting of baguette-cut and round-cut diamonds joined in an elegant geometric pattern. The 4th and 5th strands formed a magnificent festoon, a garland of pear-shaped and round diamonds crowned by large pendant stones, each a work of art in itself. All this splendor was set in a platinum frame so discreet it was nearly invisible, making it seem as though the stones were floating on air, forming a river of pure light. The total weight of the diamonds, by various estimates, exceeded 100 carats. This was not a piece for the faint of heart. It was designed to make a statement, to dominate, and to dazzle. The necklace, which the world would later come to know as the Greville necklace, became its owner's calling card, a symbol of her status, wealth, and unparalleled taste. But this socialite's most astonishing and resonant act came after her death. In 1942, at the height of the Second World War, Margaret Greville passed away. When her will was read, high society was stunned. She bequeathed her entire fabulous collection of jewels, including the famous Boucheron necklace, not to relatives, not to a museum, but to her friend and the reigning queen consort at the time, Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon, the future Queen Mother. It was an unprecedented gift, one that instantly transformed a private treasure into a part of the national heritage. For the royal family, whose resources had been depleted by the war, it was a truly royal gift. But what compels one queen to wear a jewel with adoration, while her daughter, the most famous monarch in the world, almost completely forgoes it? The story of this necklace in the hands of the Queen Mother is a tale of a perfect union between a woman and her adornment. For the Queen Mother, with her love of splendor, lace, and majestic silhouettes, the Greville necklace was a perfect match. It did not appear excessive on her. On the contrary, it harmoniously complemented her status as the nation's royal mum, a symbol of resilience and charm. She wore it to the most solemn occasions, state banquets, official receptions, and opera premieres. The necklace shone on her throat during a visit to South Africa in 1947. It glittered at the coronation of her own daughter, Elizabeth II, in 1953. For the Queen Mother, This was not just a piece of jewelry, but part of her public persona, an instrument of royal diplomacy and splendor. She wore it with an effortless grace that made even the most massive ornament seem light and natural. For nearly 60 years, the Greville necklace was inextricably linked with the image of the smiling and universally beloved Queen Mother. It became her signature piece, almost as recognizable an attribute as her famous hats. After her death in 2002, at the age of 101, her entire collection, including the legendary necklace, was inherited by her daughter, the reigning Queen Elizabeth II. And it is here that the most intriguing part of our story begins. The entire world, knowing the magnificence of this piece, held its breath in anticipation. When would its new owner present it to the public? A year passed, then 2, then 10. But the Greville necklace never appeared in public. It was as if a mighty diamond waterfall had frozen over, locked away in the deep, dark royal vaults. Why? Why did Elizabeth II, a woman for whom wearing jewels was part of her job, shun this masterpiece? There are several theories, as numerous as the facets on the diamonds in this very necklace, and each sheds light on the character of the Queen herself. The first and most obvious theory is stylistic incompatibility. The Greville necklace is the embodiment of pure, undisguised, almost theatrical luxury. It is an event piece, one that demands a suitable setting and dominates any ensemble. Elizabeth II, however, was always a devotee of restrained, functional elegance. Her style consisted of clean silhouettes, bright but solid colors, and carefully chosen, yet almost always delicate jewelry. Her famous brooches carried a diplomatic or sentimental message. Her beloved 3-strand pearl necklace was a symbol of constancy and tradition. The Greville necklace, with its ostentatious splendor, simply did not fit into her meticulously calibrated wardrobe. It was too much, too big, too bright, too loud for a monarch whose strength lay in her steadfastness and predictability. The second theory is far deeper and more poignant. For Elizabeth, this was not just a necklace, it was Mummy's necklace. Throughout her life, it was inseparable from the image of her adored mother. To wear it would have meant not just trying on a jewel, but stepping into a territory that belonged to another, very close person. Perhaps for a daughter, this was too personal, too sentimental a step. The memory locked within cold stones can sometimes be heavier than their physical weight. This piece of jewelry was a symbol of an entire era, a symbol of her mother, and Elizabeth, with her characteristic respect for the past, may have decided that this symbol should remain inviolable. The third version takes us back to its origins, to its first owner. Could the devout, dutiful, and proper Elizabeth II have felt uncomfortable in a jewel that was born in an era of unbridled revelry and associated with an extravagant socialite? The Greville necklace carries the energy of jazz parties, champagne, and flirtation. It is a celebratory jewel. The Queen, in contrast, was the embodiment of duty and service. Perhaps for her, this dissonance between the jewel's origin and her own role was too great. And finally, one cannot discount simple practicality. Elizabeth II was a working monarch until her final days. A 5-strand diamond necklace is not only a status symbol, but also a significant weight. To wear it throughout a multi-hour state reception is no easy task. The Queen preferred more comfortable jewels that would not hinder her from conversing with guests, delivering speeches, and carrying out her many duties. In a world where the number of lavish balls and receptions was steadily declining, such a grandiose piece became less and less practical. And so the Greville necklace, having survived the Roaring Twenties and the post-war era of glamour, was carefully put away in a vault. For nearly half a century, it awaited its moment, like a sleeping beauty from a fairy tale, waiting for the kiss that would bring it back to life. And that moment arrived. But the awakening of this treasure was not associated with a princess of the blood, but with a woman whose path into the royal family was one of the most complex and discussed in modern history. That woman is Camilla, now the Queen Consort. After the wedding of Prince Charles and Camilla in 2005, Elizabeth II made a gesture that was interpreted by all court observers as an act of the highest trust and acceptance. She loaned the Greville necklace to her daughter-in-law on a long-term basis. This was not just a favor, it was a powerful public signal. Camilla is a full-fledged member of the family. She is entrusted not only with a title, but also with the most significant heirlooms, the most precious treasures of the crown. And to Camilla's credit, she proved to be precisely the wearer this necklace had been waiting for. Unlike her mother-in-law, she is not afraid of sparkle and bold statements. Her style is more relaxed, yet at the same time, she readily assumes the role of a bearer of royal majesty when protocol demands it. And the Greville necklace has found its perfect companion in her. It first appeared on Camilla shortly after her wedding, and since then, she has regularly chosen it for the most important state events. It shone at a banquet in honor of the Norwegian royal family's visit, dazzled with its brilliance at the state opening of Parliament, and added majesty to her image during state visits around the world. Camilla wears it with pride and confidence, and on her, it does not look like a relic of the past. It looks current, a powerful symbol of status and continuity. It seems the necklace has finally resumed its full life, given the chance to flash with hundreds of lights under the glare of cameras and in the glow of palace chandeliers. It has become a bridge between the past and the present, a symbol of how the monarchy adapts and evolves, all while preserving its majesty. Thus, the Greville necklace, born in the Jazz Age, which became a symbol of the Queen Mother's era and was all but forgotten during the reign of Elizabeth II, has found a new life on the throat of one of the most influential women in the modern British monarchy. This story proves that the fate of great jewels can sometimes be no less dramatic and astonishing than the fates of their crowned owners. So what are great jewels? Merely a pile of faceted carbon and precious metals? Or are they silent witnesses to history, absorbing the emotions, secrets, and characters of their owners, only to one day tell their stories to us without a single word, but with their dazzling brilliance alone? What do you think? Was Elizabeth II's decision to hide the necklace dictated by modesty, respect for her mother, or practicality? And was the Queen right to pass such an iconic piece of jewelry specifically to Camilla? Share your opinion in the comments below. And if you were captivated by this story of royal splendor and secrets, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and press the notification bell so you don't miss new journeys into the world of great jewels.